about that unity that President Biden yearns for? How's that going so far? Let's ask two of my brothers in the talk radio family, two guys I met for the very first time on the very same day, about 100 years ago at a talk radio convention. On the left, progressive talker John Elliott, Air America alum. And quite right, we have RT Eat the Press host Steve Malzberg. Welcome, guys. Steve.
Thank you, Holland.
What, if anything, has President Biden got right so far?
Well, I could come up with one thing, and that is he said, I believe he said, don't know if he knows he said it, but I believe he said that he will keep the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem and not look to move it back. Other than that, I'm going to have to be a little sarcastic now to go down a list here. I think it was great that he killed the Keystone Pipeline almost on day one. One of the 31 executive orders he signed in the first 3 weeks, which is some kind of record, killing all those jobs and then having John Kerry say, well, go work, go build solar panels or wind panels. Yeah, go ahead, go do that. And of course, Jen Psaki and all those, you know, they don't know where those jobs are because they really don't exist. I think it was great that he has made a policy that illegals who are in this country illegally, who break the law once they're in this country by drunk driving or assaulting an American, they could stay in this country. That's really not so bad. You know, what the heck? Why throw them out?
And now you got this dang vaccine plan. What good's that going to do, right, Steve?
And I think it's great that he appointed someone to head the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, not that he knows he did, who in Harvard, when she was in Harvard, wrote that black babies are born superior to white babies because of melanin. So I think those are just a few of the things that he's done. Snubbing Benjamin Netanyahu, no call for the first 3 weeks. Telling Saudi Arabia the game is over. I think what a uniter this man has been. What a uniter. He's just.
John.
And by the way, equity, racial equity is the opposite of equality. Otherwise, he's doing a great job. Great man. But he sleeps a lot. He sleeps a lot.
Hey, Steve, don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really
about doing a great job. I think he's doing a great job. And why I think he's doing a great job is his approval rating is so high. He came in with a higher approval rating than Donald Trump ever had at his best day, worst day. So it's been remarkable to see this. He has put forth policies that everybody seems to like. The $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill has a popularity rating of 86%, which is almost unheard of. The great pollster John Zogby once told me, anything over 70% I consider a consensus. But to address a couple of things that Steve said about if you get drunk driving, you know, he wants to keep him in the country. Well, there, for the sake of where Bruce Springsteen was born, he'd want to deport Bruce. I don't think that's the greatest idea. Who the hell's going to entertain us in music? Is he going to have maracas with that? I'm just asking. As far as the Keystone Pipeline, it's a total canard about the number of jobs. Most people don't know there is a Keystone Pipeline right now. It runs from the Alberta tar sands due east to Winnipeg and then due south to the Gulf. That's it. It already is operating. Now, the other one would go on an angle from the Alberta tar sands right down towards the middle of the country and then slightly south and then directly due south to Houston. What most people also don't know is not a drop of the Canadian oil, when refined in Houston, will be used in the United States of America. It is 100% for export. As far as the number of jobs, yes, there would be a number of jobs, especially in Indian country, which is always popular. There'd be a number of jobs created while doing the construction, but once the construction is complete, the maintenance will be under 900 people. 900 people, if General Motors decided to move a plant, we're talking thousands of people, and people say, gee, that's a bummer that they lost their job. These are not people losing their jobs. These are people that don't have these jobs that just won't be able to get them and will have to go elsewhere to work. As far as his balancing the budget, he's really budget conscious, which is the reason he doesn't want to move the embassy in Jerusalem back to Tel Aviv, because of the cost of bringing in Mayflower. I mean, it would cost a lot to move it, so he doesn't really want to do that. So I'm mindful of that. He seems not to be reaching across the aisle because the other side of the aisle has their hands in the pockets. You look at all of the things that he's reversed, and Steve was talking about the 30 executive orders. Many of those were policies, of course, that Trump had. We don't think it's really neat to have kids in cages, so he threw that one out. We don't think it's really happy talk to say to Muslims from several countries, no, I'm sorry, you can't visit Disneyland and the tower in Manhattan. You know, didn't you guys, weren't you, didn't you do the last one? So we don't want you visiting the new one. So they've got all these policies he's put in, as far as the EPA, as far as limiting drilling on parklands. Gee, that's kind of great. When I've gone with my kids and we've gone to Sequoia National Park and we're sitting at a picnic table with PBJ sandwiches, I can only imagine how much fun that the ambient noise would be with the machines digging oil about 100 yards from us. So, you know,
hey, John.
look at the deer. The deers are all watching this. They think it's great, you know. So,
John, I should have warned you. The only person who has been on this show more than Steve Malzberg is me, but I'm having you back, too. Now that attention span has become an oxymoron, we seem to communicate in keywords. Just try to count the keywords as Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced she is running for governor of Arkansas.
America is great because we are free. But today, our freedom and the rule of law are under attack. We've seen violence in our streets, at a congressional baseball practice, and at our Capitol. This is not who we are as Americans. To remain free, we must have law and order and resolve our differences peacefully. The radical left solution is to impose government control and censorship from the top down. But their socialism and cancel culture will not heal America. It will only further divide and destroy us. And with the radical left now in control of Washington, your governor is your last line of defense.
That was the bumper sticker Hall of Fame, and I can smell a focus group a mile away. Every word of that whole 7 minutes and 45 seconds, a slick, highly produced video, is top quality messaging. And our pal, Talkers Magazine publisher Michael Harrison figures the media is in on it.
Almost every newspaper or magazine, television network or television news show in America today, to one degree or another, tries to determine through research, through market studies, what does the available audience want, and then they just serve it up to them so they're not disappointed. And this is an issue that we really do have to think about in terms of media theory and the impact of the media and journalism and talk shows on our society. This has become deeply emotional, and therefore people need that daily dose of, you're okay, your point is right, your side is going to win, you're going to be able to save face at the Thanksgiving table with your crazy uncle next November, everything's going to be okay. People have so much riding on it, and that's why I often say we're living in a time where we're dangerously close to seeking victory at the expense of truth.
Steve, you cover the media for RT. Is this pandering that Michael speaks of a fair charge or a bum rap?
Well, I don't know if I would call it pandering. I think when it comes to the left, it's who these people are. When you see Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon and MSNBC and all of these lunatics who write columns, Thomas Friedman, oh, China's better than us. You know how fast their trains go? Oh, yeah, they got Uyghurs, concentration camps and a genocide, but their trains go so fast. Well, this is who these people are. This is a time for media people who are really just talk show hosts. There are no journalists anymore. There probably never really were, but now it's more apparent than ever. They call themselves journalists. They claim to be journalists, but they're nothing more than talk show hosts, which is what I've always been. And they reveal themselves. We've always known, people like me and some others have known who they've been all along, and now we see it. Left-wing riots
Well,
are
they're-
good because it's morally. They're fighting for a moral cause.
Yeah.
So violence and destruction,
Steve.
it's morally right. That's who they are.
Steve,
Wannabe rioters.
Steve, there were journalists until the corporate cost cuts, and talk shows are much easier and less expensive to produce.
I don't believe
John,
everybody
how about
always
it?
had an agenda and an opinion.
Yeah. John, how about it?
I really think it's brilliant of Steve to get a shameless plug-in for his show criticizing the media. I think that was pretty clever. As far as Sarah
I
Huckabee,
gave him the plug.
I watched her tape, and I actually could see the forked tongue. So it was interesting. But it's what's really more interesting to me is Sarah, obviously she doesn't have a television, or if she does, she hasn't been looking, because she wouldn't have seen all of the riots and all of the things that took place and all the marauders on the 6th of January, because if she did, she would say, that's my party of law and order. Aren't we the party of Blue Lives Matter? I have a fond memory of a guy being skewed with a tip of an American flag as he was being dragged down. And the fact that they went after the police, whatever happened to Blue Lives Matter? Whatever happened, guys, can we negotiate our way in? That didn't happen, did it? They steamrolled them. And, you know, I think when General Honore, Russell Honore gets through, we're going to find out there was some complicity on that. So we'll see. We can come back and talk about that when he completes his report. And I don't think that's going to be too soon because there's so much material to review. But is this really the party of law and order? Is this really the party of Blue Lives Matter? I don't think so, unless they change their behavior.
Yeah, we're going to find out what this is.
By the way, she ran a clip. She ran a clip
vote.
of the Capitol riots and alluded to the Capitol riots in that soundbite that Holland played. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. That she didn't watch TV.
Well, she's thinking 2022. A bunch of people are already thinking 2024. And if you want to find out who is, go to whois.com and start looking at the internet domain names you cannot get. Unsurprisingly, Trump 2024 was unavailable. But look what was not available when we checked back in October and now can be had. Mike Pence 2024 is yours for a cool $5K if you'd like to draft the ex-Veep. Among Republicans, Senator Mitt Romney has been conspicuously critical of Donald Trump. Could Romney2024.com signal his third bite at the apple? Will we see Ted Cruz on another crowded debate stage? And will Marco Rubio be there again? Here's a clue. IvankaForFlorida.com suggests that Marco may be looking over his shoulder. Although these names are taken, we can't always tell by whom. Some are masked or cyber-squatted by companies like Domains by Proxy or Contact Privacy, Inc. Suggestion to whoever might be cyber-squatting Trump2024.com. Get cash in advance.